What's going on, guys? Pretty red day today, down 5.5% on SPY, 4.3 on Qs. FANG is down 3. VIX is up 30%. TVIX up 52. So massive moves today. Looking like it wants to go lower, honestly. I think the daily, we could see a continuation tomorrow, probably down to 298 on the SPY. Probably even down to like 232 on the Qs. No buy pressure coming in just yet. We could see some buy pressure towards the close here. A little bit of a bottom. Pretty massive bull div being put in here in the last like 10 minutes. So if this did want to start bouncing, this would be the perfect time for it. The trades for today, I took a small day trade on SPY that ended up losing. I tried to buy this bounce right here. It was a nice uptrend. Coming off of a low, you had a little bit of a bottom warning. You started to break the 50 moving average for the first time all day. Looked like it was coiling up, getting ready to break, but then it finally failed once the buy volume just wasn't there. Give me 1 second. I need to make sure my Twitter. Because the last time I went live, it didn't tweet it. No, it didn't do it again. I'm not sure why it's doing that. Give me a second, guys. Let me post that I went live. My restream's not doing its job. All right, there we go. Sorry, I just had to tweet out that I was live. For some reason, Restream's not doing it for me. All right, what was I saying? Yeah, so I took a day trade on SPY. Ended up failing. Took about an 18% loss on that. Nothing too big. Once it broke this uptrend here, I let it go. A little bit, I think it was right here. It closed, came up, hit that pivot, closed lower. I let it go. So small loss there. And then I closed MDLZ. We took that for an overnight trade yesterday. Chart looked fantastic, but sadly the red day today killed the chart. So I closed that for a 60% loss. And then what else did we have? We had Johnson & Johnson. I took a lotto on Johnson & Johnson, which should have been fantastic today. They had some news come out that said they were going into human trials for their coronavirus vaccine. So that should have been a major announcement for a company like Johnson & Johnson. But sadly, it wasn't strong enough to keep it green. The market killed it. So that lotto is going to be minus 100%. Going to let it expire worthless. It was pretty cheap anyway, so not a big deal on that. During the day, I did buy APT. APT looks pretty good for a move up next week if we do see some coronavirus fears, or if anything bad happens with the economy. It should do pretty well. So looking good on APT. Down a little bit. I'm down like 20%, I believe. Yeah, down about 30% right now. I have room to add. I only bought one contract on the small account, so we do have room to add to that. Probably will add during tomorrow's day or maybe even Monday. JMA took some trades today. He did much better than I did. He took some shorts on, or took some puts on SPY. He took profit on those already. If you guys were in the morning call, a lot of you guys followed along that trade. Did very well. He also took a fantastic short on Netflix. Too big for me to follow on the challenge account. Netflix looks really good for an inverse, or sorry, like head and shoulders. He shorted it right at the top of today's candle. So he basically shorted the top, and now we're seeing a massive sell-off. What else? He took a day trade on Zoom. This is an old chart that I had on Zoom, which is actually playing out beautifully. But he took a day trade on Zoom here towards the top when it was breaking out. It was early on in the morning, so if you guys were in the morning call, he was in and out of that within, I think, of an hour or two. Besides that, that was basically it today. We were just watching SPY kind of sell off. SPY's coming into some support here, but on the higher time frames, like the daily 4-hour, there's not a whole lot here to lift it up. So we could be seeing continuation tomorrow. We haven't seen a 5% red day on SPY since March, so definitely a big day. I almost took the VIX trade at like 10:30 today. If you guys were in the morning call, I did talk about that trade. We were looking at the VIX breakout in the morning session, which was right around here. We saw the gap up. It looked like it was getting ready for a second move. I ended up not taking that though. Got a little distracted. We were watching other tickers. Would have been a massive trade. It's probably up like 400% at this point. But yeah, that's the daily recap. That's basically all that we've been doing today. Couple things about Discord. We're going to be changing our pricing structure starting Monday. I'm going to be locking the Discord tomorrow. So no new signups from Friday to Monday until I have the website finished. Anybody who signed up before tomorrow, you guys are locked in. You don't have to worry about anything. But anybody trying to sign up Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, or Friday before close, I'll probably lock it down after close. So after close on Friday, it's going to be locked down. So if you go to the website and try to sign up and it won't let you, that's why. What's going on, Jack? Yeah, I went over Netflix. SGMO, I think I talked about that in the morning call. SGMO. This sounds familiar. I think I did. Yeah, I talked about this. This looked pretty good. It has a buy signal on the daily. It looks like it's continuing upward. The Momo looks like it's ready to break out pretty soon. Looks pretty solid. The problem is buying calls right now when the market is nuking is a very, very scary bet. Something that I've been watching for basically a week, and I totally missed it. I can't believe I missed this level. We talked about this on stream. We talked about it in Discord. If you guys have watched my Fibonacci video, this is a perfect Fibonacci example of how to use the 0.13. So if we see the all-time high here, then we have that failure downward. If you take your fib level from this level to here, this gives you that 0.13 breakout level. So then you have that 0.13, which you need to break before retracing. So like if we broke that level and then retraced, it would be okay to buy the dips. But because we failed that level, this is becoming a fake out here. So very likely that we will see a continuation downward. Or if we see a pop here, very likely that it will be a lower high. So we'll be watching for puts probably next week, depending on how the SPY and the Qs reacts to this support coming in. Where did you learn to read charts like this? When I first started, I just read a lot of books, mainly like candlestick charting books and like trend, like market structure books. Getting Started in Candlestick Charting by Tina Logan was one of my favorites. Beginner's Guide to Day Trading Online is not bad. The books by Steve Neeson, he goes over candlestick techniques. Those are good as well. And then from there, you can go to more advanced books like Markets in Profile. And then Bill Williams. Bill Williams has a couple of books that are good. Trading in Chaos, I believe it's called, or Trading Chaos. That's basically it. And then I just learned from doing. Just every day I would get on and look at charts and buy stocks, sell them. I had 2 years of simulator trading. So from 16 to 18, I traded in a simulator until I was old enough to trade in a real account. Then from there, I penny stock traded for a couple of years. Then I went on to futures trading for a couple years, and then I went on to crypto trading, and then now I'm back to here. So I've been trading once we hit like September. I'll be trading for. I would have been trading for 8 years, or sorry, 9 years. This is my 8th year. When it hits September, that'll be like my 9-year anniversary. It's pretty funny. I started trading stocks in September. I started trading futures in September, and I started trading crypto in September. I didn't mean for that to happen, but it was a nice coincidence. Couple years apart on each. Yeah, the markets are bad today, man. If you're looking at a long scale on the daily, the Qs and the SPY, it's still just a pullback. But it's a pretty deep pullback. You typically don't want to see a 5% candle when you're pulling back like this. Best case scenario for us to go higher here would be like a strong bounce off 232 on the Qs, maybe 298 on the SPY. What we could see is an inside bar tomorrow, close into the weekend, and then try to push higher on Monday. So for example, if we have an inside bar tomorrow, and then we break the high of like 310, 311 on Monday, that will be a good sign that we're going to go higher, but most likely going to put in a lower high. So once we go higher there, if it starts to find resistance, we'll probably be looking for puts. And we'll talk about which trades we're going to take and which stocks we're going to look at in Discord. Can you check ARC LK? I can take a look at that. This is not a US company, doesn't seem. Seems like a standard uptrend that most stocks are in right now. You are failing the pivot. Any close below 1675 is pretty bearish. 4 hour has a little bit of support. Massive bear div though. Look at the bear div on the Momo. So most likely going to roll over probably down to 1625 or 16 even. But yeah, I wouldn't be bullish on anything right now. If you're like a long-term trader, long-term investor, maybe you could buy dips on stuff. But I wouldn't be looking for short-term calls right now. It's too early to call that. Basically, my entire watch list got destroyed with this candle. I'm watching a couple things that are pulling back to trend, but not much. Most stocks got obliterated here. Cisco. Good thing we didn't take Cisco. Jesus. Cisco's down 7%. Yeah, so we were looking at buying things and holding them overnight today and yesterday. Thankfully, I got a little scared yesterday, so I didn't really buy much except for MDLZ. And then today, I'm not looking to buy anything at close. We're gonna wait for tomorrow, see what happens. Not a really good idea going into the weekend to buy calls, unless it's on like volatility. So a slight bottom coming in here on the 1 minute. He could start to push towards this pivot up here around 3036. You do have some calls coming in on Cheddar Flow for next Friday. Only 37,000 premium though, nothing too crazy. Are you guys looking at buying anything? Looking at any dips? I know a lot of you guys, you like looking at the cruise lines and the airlines. They've dipped pretty damn hard. Boeing has hit that level that I was watching, the 170. This daily candle is horrendous, though. Very long top wick. Failure downward. You do have a little bit of support, kind of around like 157 on Boeing. And then you have a little bit back down at like the 145s. You were looking at Facebook. It's resting on the 21 EMA. Yeah, Facebook doesn't look bad. I talked about some levels in Discord on Facebook. Facebook is definitely going to be something we're watching next week. But yeah, the cruise lines are obliterated. We could look for some day trades on those probably next week as well. I've only got one day trade left for the next like 3 or 4 days, so I got to be a little careful. But yeah, the cruise lines don't look too good. They're all breaking their uptrends here. You can see my entire watch list down about 10, 15%. Some are down like 5. Kroger is the only thing green on my watch list, and it's getting nuked. It's probably going to close red. APT is green, and then so is volatility. Is hedging with UVXY too late at this point? It depends on what you think it's going to do overnight, right? So if you think SPY is going to get nuked overnight, then obviously your volatility plays are going to pay off. If I was in my volatility play that I called out in the morning, I would have closed it already. It's up way too much for me to hold on to that, right? I can actually tell you what it's up right now. Let's see. We were looking at the June 12th, $38. They're at $3.20. We looked at them this morning around like 75, 80. So about 300 to 400% on those. I would definitely not hold those if you guys are in those in Discord. But you could, if you have a lot of contracts, you could take profit on some and then hold some overnight in case of a gap down. But I would definitely take profit. That's a huge play. You said I've been watching that bounce on SPY. It's hit it so many times. What do you mean, what bounce? You talking about the one that's currently doing? You're kind of putting in a 1-minute bulldog here. For the crypto guys, Bitcoin was following SPY today, so Bitcoin started to nuke when SPY started to nuke. You broke that inside bar pattern that we've been watching. Once you broke that, you closed below it, then you can see this candle here just absolutely nuked. I think you bounced off a 1-hour pivot, I believe it was. It might have been a 1-hour pivot back here. I think there's a 4-hour pivot here as well. Yeah, 4-hour pivot way back here. You have one right here as well. It's catching the bottom. Daily pivot. Yeah, you got a perfect daily pivot. That's the one I called out in the morning call today when you guys were asking me about Bitcoin. You broke the inside bar here. That's your target, the pivot, right? If we start to close down here, if we start to close below this inside bar structure, start to close kind of where it is now, the next main target on the daily, I know it's far away, but the next main target on the daily is 80.50. This pivot right here. You could get a little bit of support, kind of like the mid-8s right here on these point of origins, but the main target is that pivot. Remember, the pivots are like magnets, right? Just signed up to Discord. Do I get an auto invite? So it's manual. I'll get you added. I'm going to add you off stream, though. So as soon as stream's over, I'll have you added. Yeah, I can look at Square. Make sure when you signed up that you gave me your full Discord username with your hashtag and everything. If not, send me your full username on Twitter. because I've been having that issue a lot lately, where people forget to give me their hashtag numbers. Square looks pretty good, but like I said, taking calls on anything right now is extremely high risk. Actually, Square looks like it's breaking this uptrend here. You have a couple of outliers on this uptrend. I guess if I take it from the wick here, it's a little bit different. Okay, so you're actually bouncing off this uptrend here. If you take it from the wick, so if this closes like this, if the SPY was bullish, this would be a great play. But the SPY is very bearish here, so pretty risky. Yeah, I need the full thing. Whatever your username is. Username, hashtag, numbers, everything. I can check yours real fast to see if you gave me what I need. Yeah, I need your full username. You only gave me the hashtag. I can't add you that way. Is your username, your trading username just with your hashtag? Yeah, Mar, it's insane, man. Doesn't look like it's giving any signs of recovery either. Yeah, new low. Look at that. New low on Qs, new low on SPY. Coming into that level that we were talking about on the 4 hour. Was it the 4 hour? Yeah, it was the 4 hour ES, I believe. Yeah, here we go. 4 hour ES at 3,000. So we should hit that level. You're touching the 50 moving average on the 4 hour here. Circuit breakers only come on SPY 7%, 13, and then 20 or something like that. I think 7% is the first one. Yeah, just DM me on Twitter your full username so I can get it. Yeah, turn up. I think if we hit 7%, it will circuit break. Which would be disgusting. We only have 30 minutes left. It has to drop another 1.2%. Yeah, JMA's Netflix play is absolutely obliterating. This candle is disgusting. You're down 2% on the open. If you look at the high, it's down almost 5%. Disgusting. Textbook head and shoulders here. This is going to be a violent move, too. The Momo is completely pinched. If this thing goes sideways, or goes negative, I mean, it'll be very violent. God, that volatility is disgusting. 34% on VXX, 68% on TVIX. Absolutely disgusting. What are those contracts at? The 38s are at almost 460. Jesus Christ. That would have been a play and a half this morning. Yeah, I wouldn't be looking for any calls here unless it's volatility or anything that's inverse, like gold, maybe some commodities, gold, silver. Yeah, APT does not look good enough to add today. I'll probably be adding tomorrow or Monday. We're delayed on ES. I think the ES hit this level. Somebody with ES data can confirm. The pivot is 3,000.25. I think it's already hit that level. Yeah, that's exactly what it is on SPY. 3,000 or 300.25. The FANG is down 3%. You have an evening star playing out. You get back below like 985 on FANG, it's bad news. Look at the volume on TVIX. This is approaching the volume high that we saw before the coronavirus spike. That's disgusting. Once the TVIX reclaimed this pivot and closed like this, that should have been a pretty big red flag. This pivot was hit already, blew through that pivot. You do have a way lower pivot on the VXX. Are there any higher pivots here? I don't think there are. There's no pivots above this. Actually, here you go. There's one back here. Couple back here. Around 400. Johnson & Johnson playing out the descending triangle, does not care about the news on the human trials. APT still setting up for a breakout, it seems, on the daily. Gold failing downward after that pivot. You almost tapped that pivot to the penny. Let's keep an eye on SPY here. Nikola pump and dump. Did it go up today? Or is it still kind of down? Is that the open? Yeah, it opened up. Tried to take that high around 85. Or no, that was yesterday. This is today. Gap down, filled the gap, and then nuked. You had all those sell signals come in on the OTS. You're testing a pivot. So this is that level I talked about in Discord. You guys were asking me about Nikola. I said that 58.50, these couple pivots right here, that was like the only support, right? We're currently testing those supports. If it wants to bounce, it's going to bounce here. If not, it's probably going to die. Good thing we closed MDLZ, just completely falling off a cliff. What a shame. What a beautiful chart that got failed by the SPY. That's a shame.
Dude, we might see fucking it go down 2,000 points.
Yeah,
in the next 30 minutes.
We might see a circuit breaker. It keeps going down.
These are like bulldogs laying on their back now.
Why do you not see the pivot at 89 as a primary support zone on Bitcoin? Didn't I say that? Yeah, that was your target. So if you took the 89 pivot is your target, so that is a support, right? If you bounce off this level, this is still bearish here. You are being supported by that pivot, but this is still bearish. You are below the inside bar structure. You're below that entire range. So when you break down, the pivot at 81 is your next target. But until that pivot is broken, it's below price. So it's still a support. What's a circuit breaker? Circuit breaker is when they halt trading. So if something is moving up or down too fast, they halt the trading for 15 minutes. You think a summer market crash? I don't think you can really use cyclicals here because the coronavirus destroys all the cyclicals, right? So everything that would be cyclical in spending is defeated by the lockdown and the coronavirus. I could be wrong, but that's the way I look at it. I don't think cyclical style of trading is the right thing to do this year. Maybe back next year when the market's finally back to normal. Hopefully we're back to normal next year. We'll see. A lot of people are saying some businesses will never go back to normal. Like they're going to completely change how they do business because of all this. But we'll see. What I was talking about with a couple of my friends, IRL, was that the whole mentality of businesses, big corporations, and education, right, like colleges, the whole mentality of them saying, like, you can't work from home, you can't take these classes online, you can't do this online. For years and years, they were saying that it was basically impossible, they couldn't handle it. But then the coronavirus happened, and they were forced to handle it. And now everyone realizes, like, okay, we actually can work from home. So you were bullshitting us for years, right? So a lot of corporations, a lot of businesses, they probably will leave a lot of their workers at home. Like, for example, my girlfriend's job, she has a couple of workers that they haven't returned yet. So like she's returned back to normal work, and a lot of her people around her other employees have. But some of the people in certain positions, they're just staying home and doing their work from home, even though they've returned to business as usual. So some businesses I don't think are ever gonna go back to the way they were. We'll see. Haven't they found productivity is down? Oh, I'm sure productivity is way down. Look at unemployment. Productivity is not going to be the same. GDP is not going to be the same when unemployment is sky high, right? You need to have the same amount of workers that you had before to have the same productivity, or the workers that you have now have to work at a higher efficiency. So if those workers are not working at a higher efficiency, then your productivity is going to be down. But if you look at that same metric, the productivity, right? And we say that everybody goes back to work, the unemployment is back to normal, but you're still keeping certain people stay at home and you're doing a lot of stuff online that you weren't doing before, I'm sure the productivity would go up. They've done numerous studies on certain jobs where the whole 9-to-5 work week that's been in place for how long, you know what I mean? Like decades, right? The 9-to-5 work week. They've done tons of studies with millennials that show that millennials actually work at a higher efficiency and they're more productive if they work in a different what would you call that? Like a different work hours. They work shorter hours. They don't work the 9 to 5, right? Some work later. You can find the studies. I'm not going to look them up right now, but if you look up millennials 9 to 5 work week productivity, you'll find what I'm talking about. A little bit of a bottom here on SPY. 1 minute bull div coming in, excuse me. You can see the 50 moving average, that red line on my chart. You've basically been failing it all day long. It's been descending all day long. You've put in a couple of pivots that you tried to reclaim. It's the same pattern over and over again. Look at this pattern. You put in a pivot, you fail the pivot. You try to reclaim the 50. It's a small bull trap. You see the OTS goes black to white. You break the pivot. Put in a pivot, fail it, reclaim, bull trap, break the pivot. We've been doing this all day.
Deja, I think SPY is at the daily 200.
Yeah, it's at that 4-hour level that you were targeting originally, the 4-hour pivot on ES. You tap that to the penny, basically. Pivots are like magnets, guys. You guys can see how this reacted. Look at this pivot here. So you have a pivot here, and then you have a pivot here, and you have nothing in between, right? Roll over, tried to bounce, failed, and then look at where you hit. Sony releasing the PS5 news at 4. They picked a great day. Probably not going to have a major effect on Sony's stock price. It's like Johnson & Johnson. Great day to announce they were doing human trials, right? Honestly, if today was green, I would have added on to Johnson & Johnson. Had a great chart, had good news backing it. But today went red, so we didn't add on. Well, Bitcoin bounced back. It's in kind of a no man's land right now. It just bounced off your target already, so if you shorted, the pivot was your target. You're kind of bouncing off it a little bit, but you're still bearish. Until it reclaims that inside bar structure, it's not going to do anything. APT's rolling. Oh, nice. There you go. I could have added to that when it was down, but that's sketchy as hell, man. Adding on to a call when SPY is just rolling over completely. You should be doing very well, USLT, because you got filled at the bottom. I got filled very high. I got filled at 75. You got filled at 50, I believe. You had the right idea. That's what I should have done. I even said that. What I said yesterday or the day before. The best time to get low bids filled is when there's really high volatility. I should have listened to myself on that. I should have got a low bid filled. The reason why I marketed into APT is right here. I'll show you the 1 minute. Where's the open? Here you go. This is a beautiful chart. So in hindsight, obviously it's not beautiful. It rolls over. But this is the same exact chart structure that we used to make a shit ton of money on Microsoft and Facebook and all those other breakout trades, the Nvidia. All those breakout trades that we took this week. This is basically the same chart structure. Where you have that breakout, consolidation, breakout, consolidation. So it started to consolidate here. I did not want to miss this breakout. So I went ahead and marketed into it. My first initial idea was to get filled at 1270, right where this pivot is, which was right here. I think it was around 60 cents right here. So I could have got filled at like 60 cents. And then it failed down, and it got down to like 50 cents, I believe. But yeah, good trade, man. You're doing a lot better than I am. I'm about break even. I'm down like 10%. I think I'm going to add on to it tomorrow or Monday. But yeah, good call. This thing's ripping here. But yeah, remember that, guys. Best time to get low bids filled is during volatility, because the premium will move a lot faster, right? Cryptos are tanking. Yeah, crypto's following equities here. The Dow fell 6.5%. The Dow's down that much? Holy shit. This bull div is playing out. You had a little bit of a bottom warning here on the Momo. Turn into a bull div. Now we're popping. I'll wait to see if this is a bull trap. This pivot right here would be your bullish target. Disney stock plunges. Yeah, I took a loss on Disney. What was that? Either yesterday or 2 days ago. Really nice day trade on Disney, but then we held it overnight and it got crushed. Disney could be a really good play for next week. We're gonna watch Disney for next week. My mom was watching a video of Pal Talk. She has access to like a private feed where he gives talks internally, and I was telling her to fuck that guy. He's tanking the market. Fucking killing the market. Down like 6% because of that dude. Hey Jamie, I appreciate the $5. I don't even know how you guys donate on YouTube. I haven't set up anything on YouTube for donations.
Thinking about adding to my Netflix short here. Might wait for it to come up a little bit more, test that 1 hour pivot, get rejected.
Why is the market tanking? Is it news or normal price action? I think a little bit of both. It was definitely extended. It's been extended for a long time. We've known that. And then the FOMC meeting yesterday basically set it off. It's funny. It was actually, there was 2 announcements yesterday, both of which were pretty good news. I did mention something in Discord that I think is probably the main reason why we're tanking, is because a lot of people were talking about negative rates, right? Everyone was anticipating negative rates. They probably were pricing in negative rates. So the market probably priced in negative rates. Then the FOMC meeting happened. They said that the rates would not go negative, that the rates would stay at 0 for 2 years. I don't think they said like a guarantee, but I think that they said most likely they're going to stay at 0 for 2 years, which is pretty damn good. But it's not negative, right? I think people were pricing in negative rates. They didn't get their negative rates. Sold off.
Yo, Deja.
Yep.
Check out 1 hour Netflix. I'm thinking about adding if we can make it up to that pivot by the end of the day within the next 13 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. We failed those pivots and now they're resistance, so you get back up and test those. Could be a pretty good spot. This little spot right here, what is that? 430 to 433. It's bouncing right off the 50 moving average. It's funny, I used to use 50 EMA. I switched to 50 regular moving average. And it seems like it's a lot more accurate for most stocks. How much Netflix would fall? USLT, I think there's a little bit of support. So I'll say this. If it doesn't bounce off 410 to like 405, it could really obliterate and go down to like 390 and then maybe the pivot at 360. Now that's asking for a lot, obviously. That's a big dump. But if the market continues downward, it continues the downtrend, there is nothing on this chart that is really helping Netflix here. The neckline on the head and shoulders, so this hasn't been confirmed yet. JMA is taking the early head and shoulders trade, right? Where you take it right when the shoulder forms. The actual head and shoulders trade is when it breaks the neckline, right? So when this breaks the neckline of, let's say, 408, you're looking at a measured move. I don't like measured moves. I've never been a measured move trader, but you're looking at a measured move that almost leads exactly into the pivot. So, long story short, if the market continues downward, if this breaks 410, you're going to 360. The problem is, what's your expiration, JMA? You're trading 19s, right? Yeah, 19s. So that's the problem. So the problem is you're trading the 19s. The likelihood of this thing nuking the 360 before the 19th, that's not going to happen. So you could probably take profit on those and then re-enter when it breaks the neckline. So like you could probably trade these. So JMA entered here. He had a perfect entry basically. You could trade these like this. Because that's gonna happen probably before the 19th, right? And then maybe a little bounce. But then as soon as it fails that neckline, this could be an extended shoulder, right? So this could be the shoulder. So shoulder, head, shoulder, right? So fail downward, take profit on the 19s, because here's the 19th. And then for next week, you could look for, what's the next expiration? The next expiration is, let me see. Not the weekly, what's the monthly one? July 17th. You could take those, or you could take June 26th, but the volume's not very good on those. So I'd probably wait a little bit and then take the July 17th. We'll talk about that in Discord when it's happening, though. We're going way too far out. We're going way too far out. But yeah, that's the whole idea. Learning so much. Hey, man. Appreciate you being here. If you're just coming in, guys, like I said, I'm going to be locking the Discord tomorrow. So if you guys trying to sign up tomorrow, before the market closes, if you try to sign up this weekend, it's not going to let you. So we're going to be locking it tomorrow. We're going to be reopening it Monday with a different payment structure. So for you guys that are in Discord, if you haven't checked already, hopefully you guys have seen the new layout. I created a new category for the options traders, so it should be a lot more straightforward. We have our analysis in there. We have the watch list where we're going to be putting our trades that we're watching for the next day or the next week. And then we have the section where I'm going to be posting my trades. JMA is going to be posting his. Then we have the gains channel where you guys can post your gains. And then we have the voice chat where we all do the morning calls. If you think that we need another channel or you think the layout could be better, just let me know. I'll post this chart here in Discord for you guys. Very simple, very textbook, head and shoulders. One thing to note here, like I told you guys, for head and shoulders, the right shoulder, which is the one that we're currently seeing, it should have the lowest volume, even for an inverse head and shoulders. So inverse head and shoulders would be something like this. The right shoulder on both of these should have the lowest volume. It basically means that it's rolling over, right? So like you're rolling over to the downside or you're rolling over to the upside. So this is rolling over in volume. It's rolling over in price. You couldn't ask for a better head and shoulders. All right, let's go back to the SPY here. SPY is nuking again. Same exact pattern I just told you about. Pivot. You tried to reclaim the pivot. Black to white. Bull trap. And now we're back below the 50 moving average. It looks like it's going to go for a new low here. You still have that pivot right there as resistance. Great daily reversal candle on Netflix. Yeah, you couldn't ask for anything better. Massive sell-off, gravestone. Just responding to some messages, guys. Nothing to really go over here. We're not looking for any trades. Missed a couple home run trades this week. That volatility trade this morning was one of them. Just no buyers. 3 minutes until close. And that was probably your strongest bounce of the day. And that was only a 0.8% bounce. You're going to close with a negative 6% just about red day. What'd you guys say? The Dow was down like 6.5 or something? Almost 7%. This is going to get circuit breakered probably on the close. For the indices, it's a 7% circuit breaker. What did I say earlier? I said 7, then 13, and then 20, I think. Something like that. A little bit of a double bottom coming in here on the close. Not like it matters. Best case for bulls tomorrow would be probably like an inside bar, little cool off, and then on Monday you break out of the high of today. That would be the best case, but at this rate, looks like we probably will go lower, probably 298, maybe tomorrow, 232 on Qs, pretty likely. Holding anything overnight right now, unless it's puts or volatility, is very risky. Make sure you're okay with your positions. It's just been failing that 50 moving average all day. Look at this. I'll turn off all my indicators. Look at the 50 moving average all day. You had a couple of little traps here. I got faked out on this trap. That's actually the trap that I lost my day trade on. And then trapped, trapped, trap, trap. Super clean. We may see 290 SPY tomorrow. I think 298, definitely. We could wick the pivot here. 290 would be disgusting. Maybe 295. But still pretty disgusting. Frosty won't be too happy if it goes to 295. He was looking at doing those 295 puts. I think he said for this week. APT rocketed here. Are we actually positive? Nope, still about break even. We gave up all of our gains on our small account. Our small account was a little over $900 yesterday. So we were up, I don't know, what is that? Like 20%? We're back down to about break even. Goldman got the 3,200 target right. What was that? Their like upper target? They targeted 32 and then let it go. All right, we close. Let's take a look at after hours. After hours climbing a little bit. They said downside target 275. Jeez. It'll be pretty funny if the economy finally opens back up. Flights are back to normal. Cruises are back to normal. Hotels are back to normal. And the stock market just starts nuking. That's honestly the kind of market that we're in right now. Everything is inverse. Nothing makes sense fundamentally. And that's why you want to take it day by day, because nothing makes sense here. The article came out June 1st before it hit 3,200. When did it hit 32? Was that yesterday? Yeah, my pivot was 31.96. It gave us enough signals yesterday. I definitely missed a lot. In hindsight, I missed a lot of signals. When it closed below this pivot here, that's a signal to close that. The Qs, this one pisses me off because this is a level I've been watching for like a week. And I didn't realize that it closed below it like that. So that's another signal. The VIX, we talked about this in Discord. Where is the TVIX here? The TVIX we talked about. It kind of had that bull div down here. I think it was a weekly bull div. Was it the VIX or the TVIX? I think it was the VIX. Where's the VIX? Where's the bull div? I know. Oh, here it goes. Daily. You had a daily bull div here. You had a bottom warning on the Momo. I wasn't expecting it to break the trail, though. It looked like it wanted to come back up to the trail. See, like right here, look at this. It came up to the trail and kind of started to fail it. And then boom, just rocketed up. Yeah, definitely moving forward, when we're day trading or taking trades for very short term, we need to pay attention to the VIX. 100%. Yeah, the warning signs were definitely there. So here is a pattern that I've been talking about for a while. This is the pattern that I'm talking about towards the upside, just inverse. So you had like an inside bar right here, and then you had the break of that inside bar. It's a micro pullback, basically. So you have a micro pullback, and then you break it right here. So that's another warning sign. Same thing for here. If you want to be really bullish, the best case scenario would be like an inside bar tomorrow. Maybe gap up a little bit, inside bar, give you a harami. And then off of that, you could break the high on Monday. And that would be very bullish. You could look for a gap fill. But even if all that happens, with what we see on the Qs, how it's failing that fake out level, even if this pumps here, it will probably put in a lower high. So if that starts to put in a lower high here, you guys need to remind me to look for volatility, look for puts, right? Because that's gonna be a big warning sign. That's best case scenario for the bulls, right? Bearish scenario, this thing just keeps falling down to the 200 daily moving average, down to the 50 moving average, which could be down to like 220. It's on the 50 moving average right now on the 4 hour. 288 on SPY for the daily. Failing after hours still. So if anybody's holding volatility, you're doing okay. Did anybody hold the puts that JMA called out today? Or did you guys all sell those puts? Not the Netflix puts, the SPY puts. Is anybody holding the SPY puts? Fantastic call by JMA. He was in the puts. About an hour later, I tried to take a small buy, a small call play. And as soon as my call didn't work out, he added onto his puts and played out very well. We should just do that every day. We'll never be wrong. I'll take calls, he takes puts. One of us wins. You picked up 3 SPY puts, nice. I sold my Netflix puts in good profit. I need to discipline myself to hold longer. You're out of the SPY puts. You said you'd be in deep more in money. Yeah, JMA, that was a great call. Fantastic call. Yeah, flip a coin, exactly. Who's going to take puts today? Yeah, I'm really feeling the pain of the small account. Feeling the pain. A lot of plays that I want to take that I'm like, I probably shouldn't. And a lot of plays that I want to take, I physically cannot. I have to throw like the entire account into it. Why it's called a challenge, right? Netflix pump 2% after hours? What? What the fuck? What is that level? That's at 435? That's like right at the top of the shoulder. That's okay. You're still okay. That's ridiculous, but you're still okay. I'm watching and taking a little break right now since I sold Tesla. You make a lot of money on Tesla? Yeah, Tesla was a fantastic call. We called that out like a week in advance. We called that out before we even started the this kind of Discord thing. We were calling them out in the old Discord. Dime just sent me something I'll show you guys here. He's looking at the 3-day pivot on the... Is he looking at ES or SPY? Oh, he's looking at ES. There's a 3-day pivot here. Hey man, what's going on? He said I picked up some Facebook puts for tomorrow, fingers crossed. Facebook puts? A little ballsy. Maybe a gap fill? I could see a gap fill play, maybe like 217. Which strikes did you get? Yeah, you can see after hours on TradingView. You just go to the little bottom right. You can't be on a daily. If you want to look at it on a daily, you can go to 24 hours. And then it's the EXT button, the extended hours. We're actually perfectly on a pivot here on the daily if you use 24 hours. That's funny. But if you go to the daily, that's a different pivot. Slightly lower. You're looking at 210. Where's Facebook? 210. That's not too bad. Yeah, it'd be like a gap fill, then accelerate downward. If the market continues downward, you're looking good. If the Qs keep ripping. But alright guys, I'm going to call it a stream. My throat's killing me already. Talking all day in the morning call makes the streams a little harder. But yeah, I appreciate you guys being here as always. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube or the follow button on Twitch. I stream 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be doing our morning call tomorrow, starting around 9:20 in Discord. we'll be ready for market open. We'll be talking on Discord basically all day. I'm going to be closing the Discord signups tomorrow after hours, and then we'll be restructuring. I'll be redesigning the website a little bit, and you guys will see what we're doing on Monday. And we'll reopen the Discord on Monday. For you guys that are already in Discord, it'll be business as usual. Tomorrow will be standard. Saturday, nothing happening really. Sunday, I'll be releasing the summary of markets. I'll be releasing a video for the stocks that we're watching for next week as well. So watch out for both those videos. But all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Appreciate you guys being here. I'll be streaming again tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, like I said. And I'll be in the morning call if you guys are in Discord. All right, guys. You guys have a good day. Peace out.